Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Baron here. I'm flying the Lavochkin 174, limited time plane on the Soviet tree. It's got, I believe, a battle rating of 8.3 compared to the Lavochkin 15's 8.7 battle rating, although one's kind of a little further along than the other one. Now, the question I think a lot of people would be asking is, is it worth the grind, to do in a limited amount of time? Is this jet, worth it? And I think it depends what you're looking for in the plane. You have to keep in mind, historically, this was a prototype for the Lavochkin 15. And the Lavochkin 15 program was dropped, because the Soviets decided to opt for the MiG-15, which you can see here, MiG-15 BIS rather. And the Lavochkin 15 was decent jet in many different categories, but the Lavochkin 174 is not too hot, in my honest opinion. Once I get close to 800 kilometers per hour, my plane's just going to start freaking out uncontrollably. I can't really WEP this thing very well. Excuse me, I can WEP it, but at some point, look at this. This is garbage. I can't WEP because my, Rolls-Royce Derwent engine will burn out so fast, it makes you cry. It really does. I experienced that the hard way. Just weapon. Ooh. Well, there's the party, isn't it? Here we go. What do we got? Man, I tell you what, that was hair's breadth. Hair's breadth away. But I'm not going to worry about the Panther. I've got a demolition man incoming. Well, boy, it's time for Baron to die, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye. Oh, you know what? We may just live. Where'd that come from? Oh, what's up, Mr. Saber? Yeah, so as we die, I'm just going to go ahead and stall my engine out, put some landing flaps on. Combat flaps, maybe some gear. I mean, we are going to attempt to land this thing. Oh god, it's funny. Yeah, but this plane's freaking hard to fly. Especially for me, someone who's definitely a jet novice. Oh my gosh, look at that. Pinpoint accuracy on the roadway. Bombing a convoy right there. But you know what? It's interesting. Like, let's take a look at it. Let's get out of here. And we'll compare it to some of the other jets we got around. Now, you have to keep in mind that also to get this plane, there's a considerable grind involved. It wasn't a premium plane, it's just a limited time plane. And we're going to look at realistic battles. We're going to take a look at although paper stats are largely non-accurate. I almost said useless, but there's definitely a use to the paper stats. Look at the battle rating. Battle rating of 8.7, 8.3 for the Lavochkin 174. Now, although this is a limited time plane, you basically have to be high tier already. You only have a limited amount of time to go up this tree, and if you hadn't, it's going to be a hard time because you got to get the LA-15 first. So you can wallet warrior your way up. I was actually accused of being a wallet warrior, which was rather humorous. And then the MiG-15 BIS, 8.7. MiG-15, 8.7. And the MiG-9 has 8.0. But, I mean, in most of the games I've played in, I've had MiG-15 BISs and MiG-9s. Not too many. I think I may have seen one Lavochkin 15. Well, it was also interesting. Max speed, 1,026 kilometers, 1,076 kilometers. I was climbing, and I had a MiG-15 BIS legitimately pass me at high speeds. And this was right off the bat when we were climbing, because you can't rely on your, wartime emergency power. You can't WEP. You'll burn out your Rolls-Royce engine. But it was fun. I mean, I guess. Is it worth the grind? I think so. I mean, this is a plane that's not going to be around. And who knows, you know, they modify the flight models and stuff. Since it's a relatively new plane, chances are it's going to have changes to its flight model in the future. It is a prototype aircraft, and the prototype really didn't have very good tests for the Lavochkin 174 relative to, you know, some of the later prototypes, and the Lavochkin 15 in general. But you never know, you may like it. Anyway, let's see what else we can do. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Baron here, back in the Lavochkin 174 prototype aircraft. Yeah, that's right. Now, I know there's a vampire around here, I just can't see him, which is silly. There's Max. I'm fairly certain there was a vampire around here. Where did he go? Aha, there he is. Alright, so we're gonna chase this vampire over here. And quite frankly, this plane is tough to fly. But I want to talk about something different. We've seen a lot of prototype aircraft in the game. And the question is, you know, moving forward, what kind of tanks should we have? Should we have prototype tanks in the game? And yeah, there are distinct differences between tanks and planes. Okay, here we go. Got the vampire. Took some serious damage. Who's up ahead? Panther. Alright, so we just gotta basically land now. Ooh, it's gonna be trickier. I can't really turn without totally screwing myself. Probably gonna die. Always consult a trusted adult before reading a book. Interesting. But the topic we're going to talk about, as I figure out where my airfield is and try to land this thing. Look at those holes in it, man. Tell you what, jets don't do very well with damage. Is prototype tanks. Should they be in the game? You know, we got the XP-50, XP-55. We got the Lavochkin 174. And let's see, how's our... Ooh, yeah, we're definitely not... We're definitely not in a good approach. Alright, there's the airfield, which is particularly small. Should prototype tanks be in the game? You know, some tanks like the Mouse. It's a controversial topic. I would like to see them in there. We have prototype planes. Turn down and down. Turn down for what? You know what I mean? Why? Why are we turning down? Alright, so I'm gonna have to try to like glide in here on a derp wing on one of the shortest airfields ever. Wow. There's plenty of... Alright, we gotta turn it now. It's gonna be tough to belly land this bad boy. We still have gear. But I'm wondering if putting out the landing gear will just totally screw us up. I really have no idea, so I'm tempted to just belly land, you know, and hope for the best. But we have jet fuel on board, you know, so there's that. Let's see what flaps. I don't really want land combat flaps. Let's bleed some speed. Alright. Yeah, we're coming in hot, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out. See, the funny thing about bullet breaks is, imagine you're in that control tower right there, and some guy's trying to land, and he starts shooting at the airfield. What would you think? You know, you'd be like, holy shit. Who is that guy up there? Oh, it's actually a lot better than I thought. Actually, considerably better. I'm surprised I landed that. Maybe I'm a better pilot than I give myself credit for? Who knows? It's just the will to survive. Grassy airfield. Who we're gonna fire for this? You know what I mean? Alright, so we got 18 seconds, not bad. Took some damage, but we took out a vampire. Not bad. You know, getting kills is always appreciated. Now let's check out the tab. We got 4 seconds. There are 1, 2... Ooh. There's 4 of them up there right now. And they're all within 10 kilometers, so I feel like we could be over there relatively quickly. Thing to keep in mind is, once again, I want to reiterate this point. With this jet, you can't really web. I was even just going 100%, and my engine said it was starting to overheat. And you know, it's got a Rolls-Royce Derwent jet, but I don't really know how that plays in. Not familiar with the jet engine. Not familiar with most engines, to be perfectly honest with you. Alright, so we've got 2 Panthers running amok over there. I thought there may be a Saber. Let's see. Luke and Mr. Andre. Mr. Andre is not going to have a good day. So the question is, do you think this plane is worth the grind? You know, in such a short period of time, which means you're gonna be required to play a high amount in a relatively short amount of time in order to get this little collector's piece. If you're a collector, you know the answer is always yes. If you're looking for something to fight American jets, I'm not really sure this is the plane you're looking for. But that's off the current flight model. So, Mr. Andre, would you care to go heads up with me, sir? May I please have some more? Ooh, look at those maneuvers. Oh, come on! Where's that accuracy? It's non-existent. Mr. Andre. You know, Mr. Andre reminds me of that character in Star Fox. I think his name was Andre or Andrew, who was Andros's nephew, if you'll remember. Because I surely do. Critically damaged. That guy's going down. There is an AI out there, so I'm going to go get him while everyone's over here. I think there might be one person over here, or was that AI? My memory is not the best in situations like this. So Mr. Andre is going to crash. I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it in my bones! He's going to feel it in his bones. There you go. A little bit of foresight goes a long way. Bravo! Alright, Luke. Where are you at, son? Because I'm going to get me a kill. What is Luke? See, there's all kinds of stuff. Does Luke... He has 1 ground target. He's likely a bomber. He's likely a bomber. Now, what's interesting, I saw a Panther earlier drop ordnance and take out a destroyer. I didn't physically see it, but it came up on the kill feed, which is pretty cool. So we're just going to fly low and scout over the objectives. I mean, it could be over there. Kind of wish I had this, you know, well, let's see, where's the other really ground targets we could have hit? They could have hit over there, or he could have hit over there. Let's go, comrade. How are you doing? In your Tupolev. I believe that's what you're driving. Yep. Come on. Where are they at? Everyone looks to be landing. Here I am, chasing an AI. Oh, the glorious life. You know, in the old patches. Oh, okay, AAA. You'd be able to see a dot, and I think I'm still a proponent. Ooh, oh, he's probably fine. He crashed on the airfield, more than likely. A proponent of the fact that you should have dots. Like, once there's one plane left, I think the old dot system should come into play. Yeah, there you go. Therefore, you know, games would close out quicker. It's just building up speed. Speed we can't really take in our prototype plane. Let's check out the map. Gonna fly over this airfield. See, because it's all like, where the hell is he, right? Am I right? Of course I'm right. I'll check back to you when there's action. Alright, so we found Cool Hand Luke here. Every Luke I run into has a cool hand. Have you noticed that? In all the videos I've put up, every time I see Luke, it's just the first thing that happens. So, he's a B-17, and he's a little porcupine of 50 caliber machine guns. But we have 3 23mm cannons. I'm gonna go for, like, I guess the left wing. Try to hit some engines and then just like everything. I'm just gonna hit everything, guys. Enemy gunner's unconscious. Not really good enough. Looked like we may have gotten a rudder. He's definitely listing downwards. Got a fuel leak, but screw it, man. We're a jet. We don't need no fuel. But we do. Alright, slowing down, pulling back in there. Prickly porcupines of 50 calibers. Shame it doesn't start with a P. We can play a little game. Like how many times can you say it? Alright, Luke. Don't make me run my plane into you. I don't want to have to do it. Oh, what? Anyone else see that? That was fun. You know what, Luke? You're a jerk. You're a freaking jerk, man. I'm just saying, what the balls was that? He crashed. Do we get 2 kills? No. Hello, Chuck Norris. How's it going, chap? Chuck Norris is doing well right now. I think he's chopping down, you know, a redwood with his toe. Or something ridiculous like that. You know what else is ridiculous is what just happened right there, guys. The B-17 that I shot, you know, I need to get kills to pay the bills to play jets. No big deal. I didn't need it. I have no idea what that was. Let me know if that kind of experience has happened to you, because particularly ridiculous. Anyway, that's the Lavochkin La-174. It's a strange jet for a number of different reasons. It's also a prototype. And the thing just is, it's difficult to fly. So let me know your thoughts on it and whether you got it or not. I know a lot of people are grinding for it. I know a lot of people are just like, screw it, man. I just don't got the time. Or I'm not even that far on the Soviet tree. I like the idea of limited time planes, especially if they're peripheral type planes, you know, not like mainline planes. Like, it'd suck if you're like, oh, this P-51's only available for a few days. But something like the Lavochkin La-174, only available for a few days, I think I'm okay with it, you know, because I like more variety. I like exclusivity and limited time and collector's pieces and all that stuff. I think it's kind of fun. It gives almost like a collector's aspect to this game, which makes it a little more, you know, a little added substance. Anyway, I'm Baron. That was the Lavochkin La-174. Make sure to pull the trigger on that like button, and I'm signing out. Oh, yeah, that's big. Oh, you know what it is I got that rocket on the end of it.
Oh, that looks fucking awesome. You're fucking rocket. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I know, right?
Plane. Oh, no. I'm so... Aw, you bastard. Oh,
Picture time.
Oh,
so I think that's awesome. What it is. My rocket.
Oh, my God. That's like fucking awesome. Jesus.
That'll get me to altitude pretty quickly. So, as you...
I cannot take off. I'm too heavy. I couldn't take less fuel.
Oh God.